in my work, you know how closely I follow Canadian economy, real estate, the Canadian dollar, and there's a reason behind that. Excuse me. I'm from Canada. I live here. So I follow this very, very closely because it's close to home, it's close to heart. And right now, we are going through something unprecedented that has at least not happened in the living recent history. It happened in early 90s, but that's 30 plus years ago, and it's not really part of the recent memory, and people really don't know what to expect and what's going on. So, with the increasing mortgage rates and oversupply and over construction of condos in the greater Toronto area, or what we call GTA, especially down around the downtown core, they there's so much oversupply that there are going to be this year alone over 20,000 units coming for sale when there is absolutely no demand due to high interest rates. And people are panic selling. They are not able to close on their new construction. It is an absolute disaster. So I thought I'll talk a bit about it and show you guys how bad the situation is, how bad um, things are right now, and how where they're headed, in my opinion. And I think things are going to get a lot worse before they actually get better. And with every crisis, guys, there is an opportunity underlying, and that's what I wanted to discuss also. That people who were waiting on the sidelines, time is nigh that opportunities are going to present themselves in the near future, say months, no later than year and a half from now, where if you're sitting on the sidelines, you better jump, keep your powder dry, don't jump in now. I think it has a lot further to fall, especially when there is hardly any buyers in the market and supply is just piling up and piling up and piling up, and prices are being slashed to the tune of 10%, 20%, 30%. It is absolutely fucking crazy what's happening in the real estate market in the Toronto area. So, for example, like I'm looking at this here, it's a penthouse, it's a waterfront community, and penthouse was slashed by $115,000. So it was 800, oh sorry, $915,000. Now it's sitting at 799 or $800,000. That's like a 15% haircut in matter of freaking days. And I don't think it's going to even sell at this price. I have somebody that I know, a rather close friend of mine, who recently closed on a property worth in the similar area in Mimico area. It's a little nice little waterfront community, and they closed on a one bedroom, one bathroom, which I call a shoebox unit, and they paid over $800,000. And now you can buy a three-bedroom, two-bathroom, almost 1,000 square feet of space in that same community for $800,000. That is absolutely crazy, guys. You're getting more than double the space, more than double the accommodation, the rooms, the bedrooms, the bathrooms for the same amount of money in less than, say, 2 years. And I think it's going to go a lot further. It's going to go a lot lower than this. For example, this was $799,000, and then say $800,000 for a three-bedroom, two-bathroom in the peach of a location, absolute peach of a location. So let's look at some other examples of how things are shaping up in the Toronto area. So, for example, let's look at this high-end property. It's like $1.4 million, say 1,400, between 1,400 and 1,600, say 1,500 square feet. That's quite a bit. Look at the patio outside, guys. It's beautiful. And then we go in there, and they dropped it by $200,000. Guys, that and then another 15%. That's crazy, unheard of cuts to the prices that we are seeing in the Toronto area, and I think prices are only going to go a lot lower. And guys, I am firm believer of the fact that you buy when there is street a blood on the street, and I think we are not too far um, from the time where there are going to be blood on the street, where banks are going to be going bankrupt with all the properties coming online. Again, this one, guys, here in that same area on the 28th floor, 900 square feet, three bedroom, two bath for 769. And 2 years ago, you couldn't get a fucking one bedroom. You would get like a fucking studio, or like you would get a one bedroom for that much money. And now you're getting three bedroom, two baths for that same amount of money, and that is absolutely crazy, guys. It's absolutely crazy. So let's look at this one. So this is four bedroom, three bath for 1.1, and 3 years ago you couldn't get like a two bedroom for that much, and they'd reduce the price by 20 grand. That's not too much. Let's look at some more examples before we move on to other topics. Let's look at this one, this rather high end one. That's reduced by $100,000. Um, it's absolutely crazy, guys. If you are in the market to buy, I think you are going to get one hell of a deal not too far in the future. I think it's going to go absolutely berserk, and it's I'm waiting on the sidelines. I wanted to buy a place there closer to downtown, because I'm where I'm at. It's about 40 minutes outside of downtown. I wanted to be in downtown. I always wanted to be in downtown big, but it was always the kind of property I wanted. It was always kind of more than what I wanted to spend. And now things are becoming much more affordable, and I think I should be able to afford something sooner rather than later. Actually, my son also, he wants to go to University of Toronto. So all in all, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of house or a lot of condo that should be able to buy in not too distant future. So what do you guys think? Like, do you think the prices are going to go lower? Are they going to go higher, or do you think we have hit the bottom? Please let me know in the comment section of what you guys think, where things are headed. And also wanted to talk a bit about where Dixie, where the currency markets are. So looking at DXY, guys, it is taking a beating today, but for the last few days, it's making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. Now it made a higher high. Now it's in a bit of a correction mode right now. It is still above 100, and it's looking rather strong. It was in overbought territory for a while. Look at these stochastics. They were above 70 for the last pretty much all week long. And while RSI was climbing up steadily from say mid 40s all the way up to above 70, and now it's actually correcting a little bit, which is a very healthy sign. That's how you want things to be. That's how you want markets to move. Two steps forward, one step backward, and two steps. It's like three steps forward, two steps backward. That's how markets move, and that's a very healthy way of markets to move. So you don't want things to go parabolic, because once they go parabolic, that's how they come down, because it's just not the nature of the markets to go straight up or to go straight down. They go up in steps. So that's exactly what we are doing seeing here. And I showed this earlier also in my last video, that because of the war, the oil prices are all over the place. And then 60 to 80% of the oil is still bought in US dollars. So oil prices are going higher. Now you need that many more dollars to buy that oil. So that is the artificial demand for the dollar. And also it has that safe haven component built into the dollar, because it's the world's reserve currency. Guys, I know we don't want to talk about dollar. Everybody hates United States right now. Everybody hates Trump. I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't care. I'm not politically motivated one way or the other. I have my opinions, but that has nothing to do with my investments. That has nothing to do with what I do for a living. All I do is follow the currencies and see where they flow and make money on by uh, by actually riding the wave. I don't care if it's higher. I don't care if it's lower. My goal is to ride either direction, lower or higher. And for that, we have our proprietary software that we use that runs on our server, scans the markets 24/5 for opportunities to get into the marketplace, to get into the trade and then get out. All the management is automatic. So if you have any questions regarding that, do leave me a comment, because our March has been our best, absolute best month for since we started. That was back in 2021. And March has been our best month so far, where we had a return of over 11%, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's over 11%. And with drawdown of less than 1%. So by risking less than 1% of our capital, we are able to generate 11% return. And in my opinion, that is really, really good, exceptionally good. There are a lot of charlatans out there, guys, that'll tell you that, hey, they'll give you 30, 40, 60, 70% return a week, or even like in a matter of days. Don't fall for that. You run from those kind of people, because if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, and it usually is. So that said, let's look at some individual charts. Again, GBP USD is following. That means dollar is getting stronger. Is following the same trajectory of DXY. Let's look at EUR USD, that is also falling. Again, looking at the trajectory, so it's making a nice falling wedge here, and then it's coming down. It broke. Ideally, it should come back and test this line here, which would be the, again, support before it broke it. Now it's going to act like resistance. It's going to should come and test this line, and then continue its downtrend. And I think it has a lot further to go. All right, guys. So let's look at Australian dollar situation. And guys, I was reading somewhere, like, rather interesting, that Australia is officially run out of its reserve, and they have starting to implement rationing for their fuels. Like, I can understand if a banana republic like Pakistan is running out of their fuels reserves and asking their citizens, like, only work 5 days a week, don't drive this and don't drive that. And they have raised their fuel prices, petrol prices, and diesel prices, like anything, by say, like, 20, 30%. And Australia is going to do the same. Australia is going to put rationing on the use of petroleum products going forward, because majority, if not all, of Australia's oil, it comes from the Middle East. And obviously, with the situation at Strait of Hormuz, it is becoming difficult and difficult by the day for Australia to procure their fuel. Like, if they buy from America, then it's coming from the other end of the world, and it's going to take a long time. Again, Russia, they don't have good relations with Australia because of the Russian-Ukrainian war. So it's not looking too good for Australia. Countries like India, China, they have their reserves built for like weeks and months, and even over a year at a time. But countries like Canada and countries like Australia, or even England for that matter, they didn't build their reserves, and now all of a sudden there is this huge supply shock, where the Strait of Hormuz is closed, where 20% of the world's oil actually passes through, and now people are scrambling and they don't know what to do next, because it's just one mad dash for petroleum products, be it gasoline, be it diesel, be it LPG or liquefied petroleum gas. So it's not looking too good. I was actually talking to a couple of friends in India, restaurants are closing down, businesses are closing down because they just cannot find the gas cylinders to actually run their establishments. And same thing is happening in Dubai. But again, Dubai is a different animal because of its the whole war situation that is there right now. It's looking very very ugly for Dubai. So I think if the situation continues, if the war continues, it is going to be like this for the foreseeable future. So I don't know what's going to change something because I think Trump is getting a little desperate to end his war and is reaching out to his NATO allies to for and seeking their help so they can talk to Iran and somehow convince Iran to end the war. So how successful he's going to be, I don't know. It's a wait and watch game. If Trump had decides to go boots on the ground, it's anybody's guess, guys. It's anybody's guess. If they can reach an agreement, and I think that's the best hope anybody has to see this fiasco ended sooner rather than later. So that said, I think that's it for now. I'll be back again in a little bit and to see what else is there and what else I would like to cover with you guys. If you want me to cover anything in specific, do let me know and I'll try my best to do just that. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.